That run last year, the postseason, that was just so special and so fun. And then this year, obviously a disappointing season in terms of our record and things like that, but we just had this tight-knit group in the special teams room. And so that's why it was so meaningful getting named to go to the Pro Bowl. And I just told those guys, I found a point, took the guys all out to dinner a couple of nights ago. I found a point to talk to each of them one-on-one. I'm just like, guys, I hope you know, like, I know I don't go without y'all. Like, I haven't snapped a ball, haven't blocked a person, haven't made a tackle. Like, you guys are just the best. And so it's very important to me that those guys know I appreciate them. And so it's been two special years in two different ways.
The Next Man Up podcast is presented by Lansdowne Resort. From kickoff to check-in, score a game-changing getaway in the heart of Loudoun. Lansdowne Resort, proud partner of the Washington Commanders.
Welcome into the Next Man Up podcast. I'm your host, Brian Colbert Jr., here from the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. And honestly, I have a podcast professional here, so I'm trying to do a good job and not make myself look bad. Welcome to get our Next Man Up Pro Bowler, baby. Tress Way, my brother. How you doing, man?
I am doing good. Thanks for having me, dude.
Well, I got to ask, where did the point come from? Because I'm looking up pictures for this thing, because I make this, and it's just you pointing.
I know. So there was, I don't know how many people would actually remember that, but the COVID season of 2020, we didn't get to see the fans. The fans weren't at the games, everything like that. And a good buddy on my team, our long snapper at the time, Nick Sundberg, we're walking out to practice, and he just kind of taps me and goes, hey, they're filming us walking out to practice. And, you know, they just kind of had the phone, like, and you could say something to the fans, whatever. And so the camera's on my left, or the phone's on my left, and Nick kind of taps me and points, and I just point right to the camera. And then the next day, practice, they were there, just pointed at the camera and just kept going. And, like, at the Green Bay game, my younger brother came to the game this year in Green Bay, and they're on the field pregame, and we had a bunch of fans there for the Green Bay game. They're like, Tress, give us the point. And then I look at my little brother. I go, Cole, watch this. And I just turn and I just point up to the fans, and they erupted. And my little brother was like, "What is going on right now?" So yeah, it's just kind of turned into my thing. So it's
That's what the kids call aura. I think that's what they call aura, right, man? Now you gonna be pointing for the rest of your life. Now. I hope you know that's locked in.
Man, no doubt, it is locked in. So yeah, now it's just I'll see people out and about that they're not even with the team. They just have a camera out, and I just as soon as I see the camera, I'm pointing. So.
Hey, you know it, man. Yeah. When you got, at least it's an easy gesture to keep
That's
doing,
right?
Yeah,
and
man, listen, you'll be doing it for a long time. You told me 12 years. 12 years in the Burgundy and Gold, man. Yeah. That is insane. You've seen a lot in this building, man. A lot of people coming and going. But I got a feeling these last 2 years have been a little different for you. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think, every single season that goes by, I just feel like there's, I don't know, a new theme, or, just you're at a different point in life, each year that it goes by. Just the amount of gratitude I have, people in this building, teammates, fans, it's just like each year now as it's gone on longer and longer, and there's just been more and more stuff to be thankful for. Last year, that run last year, the postseason, that was just so special and so fun. And then this year, obviously a disappointing season in terms of our record and things like that, but we just had this tight-knit group in the special teams room. And so that's why it was so meaningful getting named to go to the Pro Bowl. And I just told those guys, I found a point, took the guys all out to dinner a couple of nights ago. I found a point to talk to each of them one-on-one. I'm just like, guys, I hope you know, like, I know I don't go without y'all. Like, I haven't snapped a ball, haven't blocked a person, haven't made a tackle. Like, you guys are just the best. And so it's very important to me that those guys know I appreciate them. And so it's been two special years in two different ways.
And it felt like it was very special for this organization and your family, your loved ones, to make that moment special for you. I was just watching it, like, right when you walked up, you walking in, seeing your family. This was a surprise for you. Did you not expect to be a Pro Bowl?
No, so I knew I was in the mix. And there's different ways that you can vote. There's different statistics. But, man, we were up there. And usually it's your net average gets you into the Pro Bowl. And I was in second by 0.1 yards. And so I was like, I'm technically still in second, but, I mean, that's pretty good. And, and our inside had a lot of inside the 20s, and our inside the 20 percentage and the return yard. And so there was a lot of things where I just didn't let myself get too excited, but I just knew I was in the mix. And so that's such a huge credit to AP and DQ and how this organization is. My brother-in-law, who plays for the Milwaukee Brewers, was in town for Christmas, and he was just saying how cool it is that, like, the team makes an event out of it for you, like invites the family and it's a surprise, like the whole thing. And he goes, man, that's really special. Like what a cool way to find out. And so and those guys know me really well by now, that couldn't have hit home any harder. So.
And it reminds me of a few years ago when I'm watching Jeremy Reeves found out he was going to be a Pro Bowler, and you were involved in that. Man, there was so much emotion there, and you see Jeremy get emotional for you, man. What is that relationship like between you two? I feel like it's extremely special, man.
Yeah, this is, I mean, not like overhyping what goes on in the field, but there is just this special level of stress and a bond that takes place whenever you play like with a certain teammate and like your buddies and you played for a number of years together. Like whenever you're out there on the field together, it's so intense. It's just this performance and the stress and the highs and the lows. And so like having somebody like Revo that like me, my wife, his fiance, like we've all gotten so close. It's just, he's just such a great dude. And so that's like him being in there. Ott was in there as well. Belor came in, but like, yeah, it was just that's fun that we both got to be a part of that for each other. So
and it's been a bright spot to what you admitted it's been a rough season. But last year when we're winning, it's funny because you would always see me, B-Mitch, and Tanner standing on the side, and B-Mitch always mention you be like, "You ain't do nothing today, Tress."
Nope, I used to
you ain't had to do no work.
I would. The media came in after my second game in a row of not punting. I was just icing my hands. And the media came in. They're like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, we're just holding for so many PATs and field goals. I don't punt, so I'm just icing my hands." So.
What was that like for you though, man? Because
so
I
great.
I know it's funny, but I mean you're winning, so it's like
that's that was so awesome. I mean, like watching our team and watching this momentum and being a part of that. I have always said that punting is like on-demand TV. It's not automatically on. It's just when you want it, you can go, hey, are we punting? All right, you want it? But and so, man, that is and that's also kind of too when you were asking about playing this long. And I'm not diminishing how special the experience is of like going to the Pro Bowl, getting to take my family. Man, like after what happened last year in that postseason run with the group of guys like together all season, that is a completely different, like special feeling that you get to have as a team. So man, if I'm not punting, I'm not punting. So that's cool with me.
A true team guy, a true leader, man, for sure. And as a leader, and somebody that's been here for a while, you have seen some tough times. You've been through this before. Some of these guys, like our quarterback, Jaden Daniels, like some of our rookies, have not been through these tough times.
Yeah.
How have you been able to help them get through this? Because, yes, we love all that glory, but at the end of the day, it's still a job. There's still things to do. How have you been able to help with that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And I'm very thankful that all I have to do is piggyback off of DQ. I have always respected that guy. I have always loved that guy. His relentless competitiveness, and I have not heard him make one excuse. I have not heard him lower one standard. He is just he's so easy to get behind, dude. Like he is fun to play for. Each game has felt like this refresh, new game. Here we go. Let's go battle. And so that whenever you have a coach leading the way like that, it's easy to be a veteran in the locker room and to show the younger guys like, hey man, like take some pride, work your butt off. You got some God-given juice to go play this game. So, like, you show up and go 100% every day no matter what the record is. Yeah. And that's attitude. That's the kind of friend you are. That's, in the weight room, on the field. And so it also helps having I'm a little biased, but we have some of the best veterans in the whole NFL on our team. Amen. So, like, I hope some of the younger guys got that, that the crap happens. And so while I hope we don't ever have to go through it again, it's hopefully been some sort of a learning experience. Yeah.
I'm glad that you mentioned Dan Quinn because it's easy to think what coaches say, especially when they're in a new regime like it was last year, like things are lip service, right? Oh, brotherhood, all these like words, you know, but that's not the case with Dan Quinn. Yeah. What he does is real. And what I've seen him be able to do within 2 years, I don't think I've ever seen it before. Have you in this building seen anyone quite like Dan Quinn? We've had a lot of head coaches. Yeah. He's not picking a favorite or nothing like that. Yeah. But have you seen somebody be able to come in and change a culture the way Dan Quinn was able to do?
Yeah, no, I think I think that's what makes him so special. Like who he is as a communicator, how he so obviously cares about you. And he knows everybody in like a different way. Like if you watch him coach the different guys, like he's still the same guy, but he knows how to get along with all these different personalities and swapping stories and alma maters and, everything like that. He he's just so intentional. And I think that's what makes him so easy to trust as a player. Because you feel like he wants you. Like if you're here, he wants you because he's so competitive that if he doesn't think you're gonna get it done, we're gonna go get somebody else. And so like there's this standard, but also like confidence and empowerment that you get, from him. And he's definitely special.
And that's great. And it is special because we saw a lot of people not be here when he first got here, right? You were one of the people that were able to stick around. And honestly, I don't think he had a choice because you were fan favorite, Tress. You are a fan favorite, man. I'm sitting here looking at you with this podcast mic and I'm saying, it reminds me of Hang Time with Tress Way. Brother, you had your own podcast and I know you don't do it anymore. I'm sure you miss it a little bit. So what we do here is we have a little segment called Downtime with Lansdowne Resort. It's our sponsor. And I usually ask, how do you spend your downtime? But I don't want to do that with you. Okay. I want to bring back a segment that you had, because I do my research. I've been watching. I was a big fan, man. And you had a segment called You Posted That. You remember that segment?
I did.
Would you like to explain to the people what that segment was so I don't have to? Do you want to get in your podcast bag real quick and explain that?
Yeah, so You Posted That was a lot of fun. Our team with Hang Time would go, man, they go down the rabbit hole on guys of their social media and find pictures. And we would see them for the first time. Like,
really?
Whenever I was doing the show, I wanted it to be fresh, like for me too. So whoever it was, like whoever our guest was, which that's what makes me nervous, is we would do the You Posted That and we would just react. And oh man, was it funny. So
was it funny? You enjoyed that? You know what? I think in honor of you making the Pro Bowl, in honor of your phenomenal podcast, we should play You Posted That. So my director has a couple pictures, just 3, my brother, that we're gonna pull up right on this screen right here. And here is the first one, my guy. I even added the comments and the caption in for this one. Explain this right here, my brother.
Yeah, this is I have not made the team for Washington yet, and believe it or not, that is the only pair of dress pants I owned at this point. The tie was a gift. I don't even know whose shirt that is. And I went through a phase where I thought I looked good in those sunglasses. Now,
I mean, bro, you look smooth, my guy.
I appreciate
Magnum
that.
PI level.
I look smooth because my beautiful wife next to me is still just gorgeous. So, like, she's bailing me out because some people could be like, who's this freaking guy? But, I got her balancing me out. But, wow.
What year were you guys in your guys' relationship at this point?
We were engaged. We were about to get married. That would have been 2013. We went to a wedding. Went to a summer wedding.
Are you kidding me? How long y'all been together?
We have been together almost 14 years.
14 years, and that's a blessing right there.
Oh, man, no doubt.
I think it was a good first picture to start with. Great job, director. Bring us our next one up. Let's see the next one
we
got.
Oh, my gosh.
And I kid you not, this was on your social media. This is not something I made up. This was on your social media.
Oh, my
Tress,
God.
explain this picture because you posted that.
The reason this is funny, too, is I haven't had social media in, like, years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so, like, I just haven't been on or I haven't
your
had
digital
on my phone.
footprint remains the same.
Yeah. Oh, this is wild. Okay, so my wife, whenever we were dating in college, I guess there was just one night we're snuggled up. She falls asleep with gum in her mouth.
Oh, my God.
Okay. And I wake up and, like, we were just snuggled up. And so I wake up and like, I'm going about my day brushing my teeth. And I'm like, golly. And I was like, what the? And it was just kind of like something was ripping my arm hair, like my armpit hair. And I was like, am I hurt? And I reach in there and I feel something. And then I squeeze it. And every dude watching this now knows exactly what happens next. Every guy does it. So, like, I feel something. Next thing you got to do is you got to smell it. So I squeeze what's under my arm and it was minty. And so I reach in there and I look in the mirror and sure enough, there's gum. And I, like, cut with scissors out and I just send it to Bree. And Bree was like, she goes, whenever she got up and left for, like, workouts, she got up and, like, left for workouts and she looked around and she was like, where did my gum go? And so yeah, oh my gosh,
that's incredible.
Wild.
And again, you posted that. That
yes,
was something
I did.
I appreciate you not only sharing it with your
two
wife, but sharing
themes
it
of
with
the
us.
two pictures so far is I thought I was cool in doing both. One was that bad picture, and then now is the gum.
And now it gets to come back to you years later.
Exactly.
And we got one more for you.
All
One
right.
last one. Look at that guy right there.
Oh, my God.
Look at that guy right there. Number 30, huh? What's going on in this pic right here, Tress?
All right. So whenever I was starting to become like a decently decorated high school punter and kicker, my mom and dad, like we were a big baseball family, and one of the movies that we liked was 61 about Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris. And I just remember my mom always telling me like, "Hey, look at how look how Mickey Mantle interacts with everybody." And then, like Roger kind of had his own style, but it was just about, like people remember how you treat them, like how you make them feel. And she would just always encourage me to be a Mantle and not a Maris. And so whenever I started to get recruited and things like that, the media would come around and I would have some fun with it. And so they were like, "Hey, we're going to take Rivals." I think it was either Rivals or 24/7. They're like, "Hey, we're going to take a picture for you for recruiting." And I go, "Well, I'm the kicker, so how are you going to like take a picture?" And they gave me the football and I was like, "Can I hit the Heisman?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, sure." I had no idea it was going to turn into that. So, yeah, that was me as a senior in high school, and I thought I was cool. So, yeah.
Well, Tress, man, you're not going to get an argument from me. You are the coolest punter in the NFL. You are the best punter in the NFL. And I hope it was fun taking a little walk down memory lane. I hope I did a good job with that's your segment.
That was good.
So, you know what I'm saying?
That was really good. I immediately feel guilty all the times I did that for the fellas sitting, opposite of them.
I figured you'd appreciate being on the other side of that,
helpless.
man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you rocking with us. Tress, we appreciate so much of what you do, man, because you're not just a great football player, you're not just a great father and husband, man. You're just a great man for this community.
I appreciate that.
You're not from here, man. You've been here so long, man, over a decade, and you've done so much for this fan base, man. In closing, the Pro Bowler, man, can you just give a message to the fan base? Because I know there's not a lot of times where y'all get to be on a stage where you just get to talk and just get to talk at the fans, man. Can you just give a message to this fan base that has supported you and loved you for so long?
Yeah. If he happens to be watching the show, that'd be wild. But there was one time I was walking through downtown Leesburg, and this guy just kind of stopped me. He said, "Hey, are you Tress?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hey, man, thanks for all the memories." And that was so cool to hear. Like as a player, like I go out and I just work hard. I get to play with my friends and just try and have fun and let it rip. But like you learn like with the fan base and the fun and the memories, and so. That is hopefully there's one day something like this that I just get to tell the fans like thank you guys for the memories. Like you get one NFL career. I'm so thankful that mine's been with one team. And so I'm just forever grateful of how everybody's treated me through the bombs, through the shanks, through the windy ones that suck, the ones that are down at the one, my family, my kids now. Like I'm so thankful for the treatment and all the memories that they've given us. So,
and we're thankful for you letting us in, right? It's not every day a punter has a podcast or is this personable or has a signature point, but you do all of that and being a great guy. And it sounds like you listen to your mom's advice and you care about how you interact with people, how you make people feel. And Tress, let me tell you, since I've been in the building, you've always made me feel good. I know this fan base loves you. Probably the favorite commander, like by far, which is a great thing to say for a punter. And just congratulations to you on your Pro Bowl, man. I hope it makes you realize how important you are to this building and how important you are to this fan base, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Commanders family, our next man up, podcast guy, Pro Bowler, dad, husband. He does all the things.
Bad pictures.
Our guy, Mr. Cool, Tress Way. Appreciate your time, boss.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Commanders family, we hope you have been enjoying Next Man Up. But before we go any further, we have to pay some bills. Now, Events DC is a proud partner of the Washington Commanders. Events DC is the premier host of meetings, entertainment, sporting, and cultural events in the nation's capital. From the Walter E. Washington Convention Center to Care First Arena, we create experiences that entertain, employ, serve as an economic engine, and elevate guests from around the world. See how we make DC happen at eventsdc.com. Hey, Marylanders. Play multi-match from the Maryland Lottery, Maryland's only in-state jackpot game. A $2 ticket gives you a chance to win a jackpot starting at $500,000. Drawings Mondays and Thursdays. And remember, please play responsibly. They say your work defines who you are. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, you are clocking in. But what happens on the weekend? What happens to your time? You could take it easy, or you could use your time to get better. In the U.S. Army, we think differently. Your time should be used to improve the skills you do have, to learn some you don't, to push yourself in new ways, because it's those days that truly define who you are. That's how you make progress. That's how you make impact on the world around you. It's your time. How you spend it is up to you. It's your time, the U.S. Army Reserve. Commanders family, back to the show. Commanders family, for our next man up, we have a very special legend. We've had him on a few Command Center shows, but we have not had him on Next Man Up before, and I'm very excited to talk to this guy. Y'all might know him as head coach, but I know him as an 11-year Redskin. Kedric Golston, welcome into the building. Kedric, how you doing, bro?
Man, how y'all doing, man? I appreciate you all having me, and Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. That's crazy, man. It's New Year's Eve. I'm not even thinking about that because we're working so much, man. But Happy New Year to you, brother. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. Like I said, you were head coach of one of the best high schools in Ashford. We'll get into that in a second. I want to start with the beginning because it's not every day you meet somebody who played 11 years in the NFL. It's not every day you meet somebody that played 11 years in the NFL for the same team. Right? Like, you almost never see that. So let's start from the beginning when you're drafted in the 6th round by Washington. What did you know about this area, the DMV and all that stuff before you had gotten here?
Man, really zero, if I'm being honest with you. I can remember getting drafted in 06, right, and then having to come up for that first week mini camp, right? And so I'm going to Atlanta Hartsfield Airport. I grew up on the south side of Atlanta, Fayette County, Sandy Creek High School. So, right, I had really only flew, outside of football games, traveling with the team probably like once or twice, right? So they booked me a ticket. I go up to the counter, I forget what it was, what airline. They was like, "Hey, you going to Washington?" She was like, what she said? She said, "You're going to Dulles Airport." And I was like, no, I'm not going to Dallas. I'm going to Washington. And she was like, no, I know. I was like, "No, I'm going to Washington, D.C." She was like, "Yeah, you're going to Dulles." And I was like, and she's like, "Look at your ticket." Long story short, that's how naive I was to kind of the area and so on and so forth. So when I get up here, a lot's changed, as we all know, since 2006 in the Loudoun County area. But for like the first 6 months, man, it was like the hotel and the facility, because there was nothing else in between those two things.
That is crazy to think about because I got here about 3 years ago and I stayed at that hotel for a month. Well, I got acclimated, much like I was there with crowd. I was there with players. Like, that is wild to think about. And you have been here ever since. Is this wild to like drive around knowing that years ago, this was your stomping grounds? Like, you was a young man learning about the area. Is it wild to you still being out here?
Man, it really is, just because, if you would have told me as a 19, 21-year-old that I would live in Virginia for now going on about, 20 years, I thought I would have stayed down south in Georgia, in that area. But I obviously played here 11 years. All my kids were born here. Companies are here. Met my wife here. Time just keeps it moving, you know what I mean? And so, but yeah, to your point, like, I remember, right there at the facility in Ashburn where that road dead ended into a dirt road, right? So it didn't even connect to Highway 7, right? Not to get into too much like, logistics in Northern Virginia, but it's cool to see how this was kind of like a rural community kind of turned into what it is now with One Loudoun and it's always been a transit area, but to see kind of, the influx of tech and federal government and all that kind of stuff.
What helped you get acclimated to out here? Because like you said, it's a very small town feel, especially back then. You coming from Atlanta where it's jumping, you got so much going on. So many of us are walking around out there. Then you come here and it's very, very different. What helped you get acclimated through those first few years?
Well, so, I grew up about probably 45 minutes south of Atlanta. So I would be misleading if I said I spent a lot of time in Atlanta. I was more on Old National Highway, Fayette County, Peachtree City area. I was a young man, you know what I mean? I went to college, went to the University of Georgia, got drafted up here. Getting up here, I was introduced to so many other different cultures. You know what I mean? It's so diverse in this area, and it's just so many opportunities to make a living and just different things that I had never really thought of growing up in the South, of like, oh man, you work in this industry, you work in that industry, and just it all kind of came alive to me. You hear about Washington, D.C. and the federal government and so on and so forth. So to actually like be living in it, it was a really cool experience.
And you're coming in as a 6th round pick, right? So you're trying to get acclimated. You're trying to figure things out. You're a young man, but you're also fighting for your life. You're fighting for your job. You're fighting for a spot, because we've seen all too many times a 6th round pick not even make the team, maybe not even get to the practice squad, right? So you're trying to make the roster, and you did just that. when did you feel comfortable in your position here at Washington? Did you ever feel comfortable in your position at Washington? Because you spent 11 years here and your role changed a little bit through time, but it was always like Kedric has to fight. He has to work for this spot. He has to prove himself. Did you feel that at all? And if you did you ever shake it and ever feel comfortable in your spot?
No, absolutely. I mean, I was a 6th-round draft pick. When I came in the league, it wasn't as um it was an older league. It was a more mature league. Rookies, it was hard for young players in the NFL. Rightfully so, right? You want to earn your spot. And I looked at it that it was only there's so many seats, there's only so many seats at that table, right? And so if you're sitting down in one of those seats, man, it should mean something to you. You should have to work for it. But out of my 11-year career, I can probably think of maybe 3 or 4 times where being comfortable is the wrong word. I think obviously when you redo a contract and so on and so forth, you kind of know you're going to be there for that year. But every other year, like you said, man, I'm fighting tooth and nail because it's how much I respect the game of football. It's how much I cared about that organization, still do, and it's how much I cared about my teammates, right? And so a lot of people instilled a lot in me. Like I said, Sandy Creek High School, south side of Atlanta, University of Georgia's, a lot of teachers, a lot of counselors, a lot of coaches, my parents, my siblings, right? So like I was able to represent them through all they invested in me. I wasn't gonna take that lightly, right? And understanding like once this is done, it's done. So I'm gonna maximize this opportunity because what I am doing now as an adult man is living out a childhood dream and being able to provide for my family while doing it.
And I wanted to highlight your 11 years here because when you're in here, a place for 11 years, whether that's the NFL, NBA, wherever you're at, there's going to be some turnover, right? And in your 11 years, I think it was what, 4 different head coaches, maybe more. You got new GMs. And every time a new coaching staff comes in, you got to resell yourself. You got to reconvince this staff that you're one of the ones because, again, on paper, they're just looking at a 6th-round pick that's been playing, right? But they didn't pick you. They didn't draft you. What was that like dealing with all the changes in Washington? Because, again, there's not many people that have in 11 years in one location that can talk to just living through all the changes that happen in an organization.
Man, you got to be flexible and understand that, whether Kedric Golston plays this season or plays this game, right? Like football's going to happen, right? And so, I remember Marcus Washington was a veteran when I came in, right? And he talked about, whenever you think you're not replaceable in this business, that's when they're going to replace you. And as you go out, as I went on through my career, right? Like the Indianapolis Colts cut Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? Like, really good Hall of Fame players, get released. And so as far as the different coaches, obviously, knew it was a big deal when Coach Gibbs drafted me in '06, right? And then, obviously I played with him for 2 years. And then Jim Zorn, Mike Shanahan, and Jay Gruden, right? So got respect for all those guys. There's things that I've taken, in my coaching career now and playing in preparation that I liked. And I was just, felt blessed to be able to play for them. But you got to be flexible and understanding that if I work hard and do everything that I need to do, right, they're going to find value in that. Obviously, you got to produce. This is a production-based business. But more so than anything, and what people, I think, in life don't realize is that when people can trust you, they'll go to war for you, right? And so I felt like no matter who the GM was, whoever the coach was, they had trust in me that one, I was going to be accountable to the team and accountable to myself to always put my best foot forward.
And when you're doing that, right, when you're fighting for your life, essentially in those trenches, like that's become such a lifestyle, right? You're out here, like I said, you meet your wife, you have your kids out here. This is home. 11 years, this is what you do. And a cool thing about Next Man Up is I've gotten to talk to a lot of legends. And somehow this season, the trend has been people talking about how hard it's been to retire, how hard it was to leave the game. Was it hard for you to leave the game? Because, I mean, I got to imagine after over a decade of playing, there probably wasn't much left on the table for you to eat. Like you pretty much finished your food. Is that how you felt?
I think you don't sit at that seat for as long as you do without thinking you can do more, right? And so I didn't think I would play 1 year, let alone 11, right? And it's kind of, you hear about the statistics of the average NFL career is 3.4 years, right? And so I always was in the moment and understanding and appreciating, what it was that I had and continuing to be on this roster. That being said, my career ended based off of an injury. Second game of the year, I tear my hamstring off the bone. It was kind of like the perfect scenario, right? I was old, I was, relatively expensive, and I was injured, right? So I kind of knew walking off that field at FedEx Field during that time that this might be the last time I ever play football. That being said, I'm thankful for my time. This game has been too good to me and my family to be bitter about it. But I would have liked to have the opportunity to go out there and compete for my own self to see, hey, am I still good enough to go out there and play, right? And I think with a lot of legends and a lot of people that retire, right, like it's easy to get bitter about things, but you have to know in this business, like nobody really gets to go out on their own terms, right? Like that's like a Disney movie, right? So you kind of know that getting into it, right? So I appreciate the time and the moments that I had, knowing that it would come to an end, but I'm not going to turn my back or get bitter about a game that I love, that I enjoy being around, and it has done so much for me and my family.
And like you said, everybody knows everything comes to an end, right? Like everything you do, no matter if it's NFL or not, it does come to an end. But it doesn't make it easier to deal with in real time, right? Like especially when you suffer an injury where you're like, dang, I still had a little more left in the tank. How did you deal with that? How did you overcome those feelings, those thoughts, those maybe sometimes regrets? How did you deal with that post-career?
Obviously, my kids were, I have four children, two boys, two girls. All they know is dad. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can sit there and mope around all I want to, but giving, obviously, and I say this, like I was always around. You know what I mean? I hear players talk about, oh, I was able to kind of re-engage with my family when I got done playing. I was already engaged, but it allowed me to kind of experience life from a new vantage point, right? Because since I was, let's just say high school, for instance, right? That's 8 years, high school, college, 11, for like 20 plus years, like I had this 6 month block of time that was taken away from me, right? So I can remember my first football season being out. I see people kind of like hanging out on Friday nights and kind of walking their dogs. I'm like, what is this? Like, oh, this is called a weekend, right? But because my Fridays were like, get your massage, get your stretch and get your body right so that you can play on Sunday, right? And then Mondays and Tuesdays, you going into the facility, putting the previous games, film to bed, and then Tuesday's an off day where you just kind of go run some errands and stay in the bed getting ready for next week. So um it was this huge block of time that had now presented itself to me. And so I think I was able to kind of enjoy um, you know, enjoy everything that was around me, because when you're playing football, like you're so centered on that week's opponent in the season that a lot of other stuff that's going on, you're just oblivious to.
Yeah, I mean, you're in it, right? Like that is 7 days a week, 365. When you're a pro athlete, you're always working. Like you said, even when you're resting, you're still working and being very thoughtful on how you're resting. And you didn't stay away from football long, though. You end up deciding to coach. I think it started with you coaching your kids and helping them out. But now, like I said, you're the coach of one of the best high schools in Ashburn, man. What was that like? And what was that transition into becoming a coach? Because was that something you always thought you wanted to do?
Um, you know, yes and no, right? I always enjoyed the process of football, the preparation, whether it be helping a younger player out or kind of the processes I went through. And so my two sons were at the age where they were interested in playing football. And like a lot of parents, man, I dropped them off and kind of set up my lawn chair and was just watching. I can remember like it was yesterday. The coach had about three or four helpers, and I would sit there and I would have his water bottle and his orange slices, and I was just a dad, kind of living it up. But then there was like 2 days in a row where none of the assistant coaches showed up, right? And I was like, "Hey, I can kind of help you," and he was like, "I've been waiting on you to get out here," you know what I mean? And so the rest is history, you know, I I enjoy what football did for me, not only on the field, but what it taught me is how to be a man, right? Like I can remember vividly, like just life lessons that I've learned through football, right? And people might think that's cliche, but like, football is kind of one of the last things on earth that's really hard. You know what I mean? You start football in the dead of the summer where it's 100 degrees outside, and you finish up, hopefully, if you're good enough, when it's freezing outside, right? And you're sore, you're tired, you got to force yourself to do things that your body doesn't want to do. You got to work with people to achieve a common goal, right? And so, um, it really is no truer saying than like doing hard things with good people, right? A lot of my relationships that I have are because of football, right? And me and my brothers going through different things and so on and so forth. So I almost feel like it's me giving back because so much was poured into me, and I know that it's easy to kind of lose focus of what this game really is, and so I just want to make sure I'm there as almost like a square to what football is, and it's not about everything the glitz and the glam everybody want to make it out to be. There's still a lot to learn for young people in the game.
And it's not just you reaching out to young people and helping them out, man. Your staff has a few ex-Redskins on there, a few of your former teammates. Why was that important for you to add some of those guys and add in the Logan Paulson and guys like that you had played with? Why was that important to you?
One, they're really good men, right? I knew what type of cloth they were cut from. I knew they cared about people, and I knew they were in it for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Like between Logan, Rock Cartwright, Kerry Campbell. We have another, Mike Geeter played running back he, went to Yorktown High School, played running back in North Carolina. Greg Fenner, which was a Stonebridge alumni that played, I think he started the program down there at ODU. I wanted to get men that I knew cared about young people to teach them the game of football, right? Because it's not about us, right? Like I always tell my sons, man, like keep pressing forward, man. I'm not gonna walk in front of you. I'm just gonna make sure you don't fall, right? So if we can help elevate these young people, man, to live out their goals, not on the field, to like, be great husbands and great fathers and great leaders in the community, man, that's the true success and the true reward, especially when you talk about high school sports.
And I can't imagine anything more rewarding than getting to see your sons do it, getting to see them find success, get college offers, get love, get things of that nature, man. Has this been the most fun you've had in your life? Like, I know 11 years in NFL, I can't even imagine what that's like. But I got a feeling you doing this side and being dad and being head coach, I feel like that hits a little different. Am I right?
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, that was one of the reasons I got into it. I got my oldest son, Kedric Golston Jr., and then my younger son, Caden, and a lot of their friends that I grew up coaching when they were little. To be able to coach them in real time and experience football and school and life with them in this type of way, man, like I can never recreate this, right? So it was really just a blessing for Dr. Flynn and Mrs. Windows and Mr. Gallo, which is our principal and athletic directors, to give me this opportunity, man. And I take great like responsibility in it. So I tell people like it's the most rewarding, frustrating thing I've ever done in my life. Because when I was playing, it was all about, hey, how do I prepare myself, making sure I take care of my business. Whereas now I got 60 kids I'm worrying about, and I got 11 coaches that I'm trying to make sure. But with all those people that I have around me, I'm only as good as my coaches and the players and administration around me. So got great people around me, and had a good season this year. We lost to Maury in the state semifinal, so looking to bounce back and bring Stonebridge to their rightful place at the head of the state of Virginia.
Coach Golston of Stonebridge High School, man. That has a nice ring to it. Y'all have been killing it. I keep up with y'all team because of Logan. He's so locked in. He loves it. I mean, he's just a phenomenal football mind. So you got you a good staff on your hands. Last question for you, Coach, because I know you got to get going. When you look back at 11 years at Washington, what memory, what thought sticks out to you most?
Man, honestly, like there's so many memories, good and bad. But I think like my first game was on September 11th, 2006. Monday Night Football. We playing the Minnesota Vikings. Steve Hutchinson had just signed there in free agency. He was the best offensive lineman. All my family drove up from Atlanta, and so it was just like one of those moments that like your dream was finally a reality, right? And it was just like so much fun and youthful excitement because I had worked so hard to make this roster, and now I'm actually playing in the NFL game, and the people that I care most about were there to share it with me. And then my second one would probably be when my two sons were old enough to know what daddy was doing, and I was able to bring them into the locker room after the games to experience that with me. You know what I mean? And so, a ton of great relationships, a lot of memories, a lot of friends, a lot of people I call family now came out of that building, and that's what I really take away from it. You know what I mean? Like, you forget about the wins and the losses, you forget about how sore you were, but those relationships are going to last me a lifetime, and that's what I value the most.
Kedric, it's been so great talking to you, man. Shout out to you again. Congratulations on just an amazing NFL career, and congratulations on a phenomenal head coach career. It's not easy to make a pivot. It's not easy to career change, and you have done it what it looked like on the outside effortlessly, man. So shout out to you. Thank you for your time. Hopefully next time we get you in the building, get you in the studio here, you can come check out the digs, check out your boy Logan Paulson during his day job. And Kedric, we appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for your time, brother.
Have a good one, man. Happy New Year to you all.
Commanders family, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Next Man Up. Remember, you can stream all of the Next Man Up episodes right now on the Commanders YouTube page or the audio wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for supporting the Next Man Up podcast. You've allowed us to be nominated for not one, but 2 People's Choice Podcast Awards, Best Male Hosted and Best Black Male Hosted Podcast. And that's all because of the best fans in the NFL. I appreciate y'all so much for supporting us. It's crazy to think we're already in season 3 of Next Man Up, and we have a lot more to go. So make sure to subscribe to the Commanders YouTube page so you don't miss any of our content. I'm Brian Coble Jr., and this is Next Man Up.
This show was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.